Coach Alex, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. What
I'm
about
so
you?
excited. I'm doing well, and I'm so excited because today we're going to be talking about the power of emotional intelligence in relationships and in breakup recovery. And I know that this is a topic that is very dear to you, and I'm so excited to learn together from this conversation. So first and foremost, Coach Alex, what is emotional intelligence to you, and how does it apply in general in relationships?
So I'm not sure that there is one definition. You know, I like to share my definition, my words. When I hear emotional intelligence, at first I didn't know what it means. I didn't know what to expect as well. But for me, it's the ability to connect to other human, connect to ourselves. So knowing who we are, knowing who they are, and how to connect with those people. And you know, every time I study the emotional intelligence, it's basically understanding your own emotions, people's emotions, so you can create a deeper level of connection. And I found that this is a very important topic today because after a breakup, we really focus on, I want to get back with my ex. When we're in a relationship, I want to save my relationship. When we want to attract someone, I want to attract that person. And so one of my clients was telling me, Alex, I really want to get my ex back. And I was always adamant to say, breakup, it can also be a big change for ourselves. You know, it's like learning, evolving. And that's my philosophy as a coach since 2007. It's not just I want to get back with my ex, but I want to learn how to communicate better, how to share my opinion, how to be confident, etc. So that's why I love the emotional intelligence. But what about you? What will be your definition of the emotional intelligence?
I think your definition is beautiful. It's the capacity to be in tune with our emotions and someone else's emotions in order to make sure that we can adequately respond to the needs that are there. It's a different way of looking at reality. And I love the fact that we're doing this topic because often we're in crisis management mode, right? And here, this gives us the opportunity to be in relationship education mode, where we can share with you a different perspective, tools, tips that can help you to nurture healthy love and to prevent crisis management in the future. And so I think that this is a very, very important conversation. What are some of the dynamics that you see in relationships, in breakups, where indicators that individuals need to raise their level of emotional intelligence, where they really need to develop more of that capacity?
I'm pretty sure that you will love my response. It's when you see the people on the phone, your clients, they talk a lot, not just to us as coaches, but to their ex. They want to talk about the past. They want to talk about the mistakes. They want to talk about the relationship. They want to talk about everything, but they are not listening. The first thing I learned with the emotional intelligence is to have a good sense of observation. What is the person in front of me need? What do they want? What's important for them? How can I really connect instead of just sharing my own opinion? And so I want to shock sometimes my coaches, my clients, because it's my best way to talk to their subconscious mind. So I will tell them, don't you think that your behavior is selfish? They will be like, but Alex, I love that person. I want to be with them. It's not selfish. And so then I would ask the question, what do they want? What's important for your partner? So to answer your question, Coach Adrian, I think that when someone is talking too much, they are trying to get a leadership, they are trying to share their point, but they are not listening. We cannot talk and listen at the same time.
Yes.
So something that I did to really improve my emotional intelligence as a coach, as a human, as a husband, father, it's basically to ask questions and listen. And also observe what do they really want. And if I have any doubt, instead of doing an interpretation, like thinking for them, I would ask a lot of questions as well. Of course, it's not easy when you are in the situation, when you're frustrated, when you're not feeling good. Could be with your wife, with your children, with your friends, with your coworker. You tend to want to react, but if you can control those emotions, you will improve your emotional intelligence by so far.
It's so profound.
Yeah.
It's so profound what you're sharing. And oftentimes, as coaches, we try to help you to gain a higher level of understanding or consciousness as to what you're going through, but also why. And to me, emotional intelligence is the capacity to understand why. Why is my partner frustrated? Why is my partner raising their voice? Why does my partner feel unloved? If you have this capacity to understand the why, it means that your emotional intelligence is quite developed, right? But some people cannot even begin to observe the emotions. They forget asking why. They're so caught up, like you're saying, in their own emotions, their own pain, their own frustration, their own despair, that they completely shut out the other person. And everything is like inward and centered around, the emotions that are brewing in you. So I guess the first step is to be mindful of those things, and that there is another human being that you're interacting with that has certain feelings, frustrations, hopes, desires, all of those things, and that acts a certain way because of different forces. And so the more you are able to understand those emotions and the why, and there are different layers. You can always ask why, and why, and why. And the more you can kind of go deep into the why, the greater depths of emotional intelligence that one person can manifest. At least that's in a simple way. That's how I've come to identify one's capacity to have this notion of emotional intelligence. And in coaching sessions, some individuals will come and they not only, obviously they all love deeply and care deeply about their partner, but beyond that, some of them are able to understand their partner's point of view, perspective, and why the breakup occurred. But sometimes it's done in a superficial way, and sometimes it's done in a very profound way. Has that been your experience as well?
Yes, and of course that will define if they will be able to get their ex back or not.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know a lot of individuals want to connect those dots.
For sure. So I coached an amazing client, a man that was in a relationship for 8 years, and she felt insecure because they were not married. So she decided to leave him, and she was also complaining for his lack of communication. When he came to me, he had made a lot of resources, like research. He read a lot of books about emotional intelligence, communications, relationship. He went to see a therapist to understand why he was not able to get married because of his fear from his childhood with his parents that was divorced, etc. So he came to me with a lot of knowledge. And he was asking me only one question: how can I share those knowledge? Because right now she's not really listening to me. But he did so much that we were able to get his ex-fiancée girlfriend back in just a couple of days because he was ready. He was not trying to play a game. He was not trying to possess the person. He was not trying to change who he is. He just really did the job. Most of the people that we coach, they are at their peak of emotional sadness, desperation. So they are not able to understand exactly what's going on and what do I need to change in my situation. So when you focus on the emotional intelligence, you do a little step back, you look at the overview of the situation, and you can make the right decision. But when you are in the situation, even someone like me, which means 18 years of coaching, training in coaching, NLP, emotional intelligence, and not just once, I did 2 or 3 or 4 training in each. When I'm in the situation,
it's tough.
It's very tough. It's almost impossible, even for someone like me. I'm not saying like I'm the best. I'm just saying.
No, but you have knowledge.
Exactly. I have knowledge, I have training, but inside it's tough. That's why I want the people that listen to this episode to know, first of all, we would love a comment, 5-star review, of course, like usually. But I want you to know that it's still possible. It's still possible to learn the emotional intelligence, still possible to get your ex back, save your relationship. But you need to make sure that you will be able to understand your ex. And one exercise that I can give you, because you talk about the why am I in this situation, I would love for you guys to work on why did I do this mistake? Why did I communicate this way? Why did I lack of attention even if I love that person so much? Because when we can explain our mistakes, for the other it makes sense. For the other it shows that this won't happen again. So I love this part because sometimes the whys are the most important question we need to ask ourselves. I would like to know if you have maybe one exercise, and you can rebound on what I just said, but one exercise on how can they improve their emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So a simple exercise, and everyone that has coached, that has done a coaching session with me has had to experience this in some way. It's the capacity to reflect regularly will help you really develop emotional intelligence. And reflection does not have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be with a journal. It can take many forms. Sometimes it can be just, going for a walk at the end of the day, or in the shower, or with your phone, listening to music, whatever it may be. But ask yourself simple questions like, what did you learn today? What could you have done better? What do you want to improve on? Simple questions like that can really help you to be more in tune with yourself, but also with the world around you, with those people that come into your life. And so more than those questions itself, it's the process of daily reflection, even if it's just 2 minutes, 5 minutes, that can really help you to be more mindful and aware of yourself and of others. And to add to that, really trying to think about the experiences of others, the feelings and experiences of people that cross your path can just help you to be more in tune with the frustrations of those that are closest to you, because oftentimes this is when we struggle, right? It's more challenging to deal with the frustration of a spouse or an aunt or a cousin or a brother or sister than it is of someone that is not that close to us. We're sometimes less patient, right? But the more we are in tune with the emotions of anyone that comes in our path, the easier it is to also be in tune with those that are closest to us.
Yeah. I love your exercise because it can also help us reflect on what we are doing good. There is, of course, the things that we need to improve. But the more we reflect, the more we realize I was able to do it at this time. Let me see how can I do it in other situations, other time, etc. So, and that's an amazing tool, because when you will be facing your ex, you need to have good regulation of your emotions. You need to have a good positive communication. You need to make sure that you create some energy that are also very attractive for your ex, etc. So learning the emotional intelligence is the number one tool, not just for your love life, but in general. So I want to know if there was one book or one tool or one person that really helped you develop your emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So, there's many things that have helped me. I've been fortunate to learn from parents and family members who were...
I'm smiling because your mom is I was like, if he doesn't say his mom, I would kill this guy.
Thank God I said my mom.
And your dad, of course, but your mom is like, wow.
Thank you. So yeah, I've had the chance to have role models in my life. Family members, close friends, people who really cared, about others, which has helped me from a very young age to also, at least get some of those benefits, and it became a part of me in small ways. That's where I start. I've also had the chance to read books. It started in college when I really wanted to learn about business and communication. like books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, for example.
Who is the author of this?
Dale Carnegie, I believe.
Okay.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Because we don't have the same title in France, and I'm sorry to rebound on this one, but this is my favorite book when it comes to emotional intelligence, the basis, the base. But the basic are always the most, I don't know if we say basic in English. Okay.
The foundation.
The foundation, it's just the most important thing. Like, it's simple. This book is so simple, but so important. So in France, we have a different title. So that's why I wanted to make sure it's this one that we talk about. So
No problem. So this book is great. There are many other books. Even the 5 Love Languages is fantastic. I think everyone should at some point in their lives read that book by Gary Chapman. But in recent years, and I think what has had the most profound effect on me has been turning to Scripture, the Word of God, in any faith. I believe that having a spiritual foundation of some kind and being able to turn to holy writings really has a transformation on the heart that enables you to just channel love, and in a way that like intellectual education alone cannot. So it's not just tools. It's also attitudes, right? It's also qualities of the heart that need to permeate into each interaction that you have. And so, there's different types of education. There's intellectual education, and those books, Dale Carnegie, Gary Chapman, are fantastic in terms of learning about that communication. There is also the education knowing about the body and how to eat healthy and how to be healthy so that you can be your best self. But there's also spiritual education, which to me is the most important education because it can really refine your interactions with fellow human beings, with your spouse or with your children, colleagues, coworkers. And I would say that in the last 5 to 7 years, this has really had the most impact on me. But what about you? What are some of the tools or the what has had an impact and an influence on your ability to help others develop emotional intelligence?
So, like you, I would say I had some good role models, but I didn't realize at this time. I realize now that I'm a coach. Now that I have the experience and the knowledge, I realize wow, I was very fortunate as well. But the one thing that really helped me understand that there was something very deep as the emotional intelligence, it's this book from Dale Carnegie. And the reason why is because I met one of my clients. I was already a coach. So I went to do my master in human sciences, did my training in coaching. I was coaching people. And I told everyone I am not reading book in love or even in personal development because I don't want to be influenced by others. And one of my clients pushed me to read this book. His name is Jabal, if he's listening. He lives in Los Angeles now. Thank you so much, buddy, because he pushed me to read this book. He said, no, this is a different book. It's not something that you will be able to talk and just copy paste. It will help you understand. And the emotional intelligence, this is the most important thing for me. It's there is not a formula 1 + 1 = 2. It's mostly about learning and trying and understanding. So I read this book, and I won't say it changed my life because I was already happy, everything was good for me, but it changed my life in terms of perspective, in terms of personal growth. And that's why I love this podcast today, because to get your ex back, you need to grow personally.
Right.
Everyone will come to me, but I love my ex. I want my ex back. I love them. I promise everything I will change, but that's not personal growth. And at least I believe in, if you change, you have more chances to get your ex back. Yes. And so this book was very simple to read, very easy, but every book from Dale Carnegie, they are just gold, in my opinion. So that was the experience that pushed me to really focus on the emotional intelligence. And unfortunately, I don't remember the name of that person, but I had an interview from a professor from Columbus University. He was so good and specialized in emotional intelligence, but I lost his name. I'm so sorry. But that really also popped up in my mind, this guy is so good, I want to be like him.
No, I love the fact that you are turning separations, breakup, relationship challenges into opportunities to better yourself and to grow. And the reality is that oftentimes it is the most difficult period of someone's life to go through a divorce or a separation like this. And anyone who's gone through real heartbreak knows what I'm talking about. But it's also not pain that is in vain. It's an opportunity to learn things, to do things differently, to become a better version of yourself. And I think that this is where, you know, I really resonate with your approach and with what you're striving to do here.
To rebound on that, sorry, Coach Adrian, but yesterday I coached a client. She sent me a voice note on WhatsApp telling me I got my ex back. He wants to marry me. It's incredible. I didn't know I was able to get him back as fast. And he changed. He's talking about his feelings now. He wants to get married, wants to have kids with me, which was not the case before. And I told her, it's crazy to say that, but most of the time a breakup or a big argument is a blessing in disguise. I think we say this, right? Yeah. It's a blessing because we need this wake-up call to look after our partner, share the love, not take them for granted, push our lives. How many people I have coached started their company, travel like they didn't take the airplane before. Now they're traveling, they are going to the gym. And so we need some wake-up call in life. Me personally, it's when I lost my father that I really became the coach I am today. And fortunately, I needed this wake-up call to take control of my life. And it's the same as a breakup. Sometimes we need a wake-up call to really push ourselves to be the best version and not just take things for granted. So if you're listening to us right now, yes, it's tough. We know it's very tough, but... Can
I ask you a personal question? Because you're talking about the death of your father. How can the loss of someone that we love, the death or a breakup, how can that help raise someone's level of emotional intelligence through that hardship?
Yeah, I can talk about my personal experiences because it seems crazy to say losing the person that you love the most can make your life in a way better. But when I lost my dad, I realized that I was not giving my best at life. I was taking things for granted. I was doing the bare minimum, was having the good results. For example, when I created my company of coaching, he was the only one that supported me. And he told me, you do it, but do it good.
With excellence.
With excellence.
Yes.
And I didn't do it with excellence until I lost him. So losing him pushed me to, just give my best. Pushed him to learn the lessons that he gave me as himself an entrepreneur, but someone that had a very good emotional intelligence. So you always react later. If I didn't lose him, I would have never been the coach I am today. I would have never come to the US. I would have never done maybe 10% of what I've done. So it was the saddest moment of my life, but I made it a strength to make sure that I would honor his presence for the rest of my life. After a breakup, because I had also I had also some breakup, and it's just the moment where you tell yourself, okay, I was needy, I was codependent, no more. It's over. I need to stop. I need to love myself. I need to trust myself. I need to be a good partner and not be someone that would suffocate others. So I think that we can learn from every experiences. I'm not saying I want you to experience those moments, but there is no other option than learning from those moments. So that was my wake-up call, and that raises my emotional intelligence because I just gained so much in maturity, if I can use this word.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. There's so much that can be discussed here, but to start wrapping this up, I really hope that you have someone in your life that can ask you the right questions, someone that can help you to reflect, because that's how also emotional intelligence can be nurtured and developed. Of course, that can happen through coaching. That's what we're trained to do. But hopefully you have a friend, a spouse, a cousin, a parent or a grandparent that cares enough about you to ask you why and to help you to start to reflect on your own ways of doing things, your own ways of thinking, because that is how we can learn more about emotional intelligence, and in turn be that person for your kid, for your friend, for your spouse, because it's life-changing.
I love what you mentioned, Coach. And there is always someone.
Of course.
There is always, but most of the time they are challenging us. So, you don't want to go talk to them because you will face your own mistakes and mirror. But right. I love what you mentioned. And of course, coaching is very important. It's just even leaving a comment for this podcast or on the YouTube channel, but leave us a comment. Tell us what's going on. Tell us what you're doing. And you will see that you can have your own reflection, and we will definitely help you as well. But I want you to know that you're not by yourself. There is some support, and you will find support, I'm pretty sure.
That's what fighting the good fight looks like. So thank you so much. If you have additional perspectives and insights on this notion of emotional intelligence, being more in tune to your own feelings and experiences and that of others, please share it. And in the process, you will refine your capacity to reflect, and you will help and encourage others. And thank you for this amazing conversation.
Thank you, Coach Adrian. Thanks, every one of you. Please make sure to leave the 5 stars review, your comment. We need your support, guys. And we want to come back and do even more topics that are just very profound to show you that we know how to help you guys, and we want to be on your side as your coach.
Awesome. See you soon for another episode of this podcast.
Take care.
Take care.